Hello everyone, JSGC here, and we're here for another Manchester City video instead of doing a transfer update because we've literally got like 2 or 3 bits of news, so we'll be covering that tomorrow. Instead, one of the biggest stories is that Manchester City now are pulling out of the race to sign Harry Maguire, and because of that, City said that they potentially weren't looking at a centre-back, so I was just having a look at some potential alternatives for Manchester City that they may target, because we've been getting linked with a couple of centre-backs. So I've drawn up a list of 5 possible alternatives that City could target, and we'll have a little discussion about them. So before we crack on with this video, make sure if you enjoyed the video that you do leave a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here, press the bell and put your push notifications on, as of we're doing daily Manchester City transfer updates, of course, and talking all things Manchester City transfers throughout the 2019 summer window. Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Go and check out my social media if you so wish, which you can find in description below and popping up on screen for my Twitter and Instagram. So we're going to crack on with this video, and we're going to talk about these 5 alternatives to Harry Maguire. We'll talk about the pros and cons too. So we're going to first up start with a player that City have been linked with for this summer. It comes in the form of Borussia Monchengladbach centre-back Nico Elvedi. Now he's a Switzerland international, plays centre-back, of course, 22 years old, 6'2", quite a powerful guy, strong guy, and very quick too, and also very versatile. So you might be thinking, what's the problem? We'll get on with that in a moment. So he used to be a right back, converted to a centre back, has played left back before, so he can play all across defence, which is everything that Manchester City would be looking for if was looking for a defender, which apparently we are. He has spoken about a move to England before last season. He said that he was keen, so it wouldn't be too much of a problem in trying to convince him to come over to Manchester, which would be very good if City were indeed going in for him. He shouldn't be too expensive either, and by expensive I mean like not 70-80 million pounds that Harry Maguire would be costing us. We'd be looking at a fee less than that, so possibly around 40-50 million pounds, which is somewhere there or thereabouts of what Manchester City do like to pay for their transfers, and he's a good choice for Manchester City to be looking at. The only problem we've got is he isn't a homegrown player, and because of that, Manchester City are lacking one number at homegrown, so they're looking for a homegrown player to try and make up that position where Vincent Kompany has indeed left. So they're looking for homegrown players. So that's the only problem we've got with Elvedi. If we weren't looking for a homegrown player, I'd say he'd be one of the strongest candidates in this list. Instead, we're going to move on and talk about a homegrown player now, which means that this is potentially quite likely. Comes in the form of Nathan Ake. People have been requesting me to talk about Nathan Ake, so here you go. Bournemouth centre-back. Used to play for Chelsea too. 24-year-old. He's English, by the way. That's why he counts as homegrown. He's 24 years old. Centre-back. 5'11". Slightly small for a centre-back, you would think, considering most centre-backs are normally around 6 foot. 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". Somewhere around them heights. So 5'11". Slightly smaller, but look at Nicolas Otamendi. I mean, he's not very tall either, potentially for a centre-back, but still very good in the air. I'm just thinking that City are probably looking for someone a little bit more commanding. I know the area of weakness we've got in defence is that front post, particularly from set play, so City might potentially be looking for a more physical, more powerful player. Harry Maguire would suit that, being homegrown too. City just really put off by the price. Otherwise, you'd think that he'd potentially be a perfect fit for Manchester City, but good choice with Nathan Ake. He can play on the left side of centre-back, so it provides good competition there for Aymeric Laporte if he picks up an injury. Then we're looking a little bit short in numbers, if I'm completely honest. He can also play at left-back too, but considering we signed Angelino, we've got Benjamin Mendy, obviously, that can play there, and will probably be first choice when he is fit. And we've also got Zinchenko that plays there too. Signing another left-back isn't particularly high up on the agenda anymore, so it's not really relevant, but more importantly, he could play second fiddle to Aymeric Laporte to allow him to have some rest. Obviously looking for a Vincent Kompany replacement. Is Nathan Ake that? Potentially not really, but the huge factor is he's homegrown, youngish player, costing, believed to be around £40 million, £40 million, half the price of what it'd cost for us to sign Harry Maguire, and so it makes him a decent choice. He's Premier League experience too. It's an interesting choice for Manchester City, and to me, if we were looking for a homegrown player and we wanted to sign a centre-back, wouldn't surprise me at all if that man did become Nathan Ake. And if we weren't looking for a centre-back that was homegrown, which it is possible, but you'd imagine Fabian Delph leaving, we needed another homegrown player that, if, say, Fabian Delph stayed and we still wanted to sign a centre-back, then potentially they might not have to be homegrown, so that's why we're looking at some other possible alternatives, and one of them is another player that people have been requesting I talk about is Milan Skriniar. That's how you say his name, Skriniar. Plays for Inter Milan, Slovakian, 24-year-old centre-back, 6'2", slightly taller this time. A solid option. Serie A is a very physical league, so wouldn't have too much of a problem adapting to the physicalities of the Premier League either. Problem we've got is he seems quite settled at Inter Milan, and I think he signed a new contract just this year, which means if we wanted to prize him away from Inter Milan, one way we're going to do that would be money, which would make him an expensive player. And considering we've already pulled out the race for Maguire due to expense, to me this is just an option and kind of nothing more. I mean, we have shown interest in the past, and he is certainly an option for City to look at. Considering he signed that new deal, it tells me that he's fully committed to the Inter Milan cause, and because of that, makes it very expensive and makes the transfer not too likely, in my opinion. So we'll move on to the next player instead. And another player that we have been linked with this summer is Mario Hermoso of Espanyol, 24 years old. I'd say 23, 24 years old sounds about right for City to be signing a player. I don't imagine us signing anyone really over the age of like 25, so that's why we're looking at younger players like Mario Hermoso, 24 years old, Spanish centre-back. He's only 6 foot, slightly small as well for a centre-back, but he is a good passer and has plenty of potential there. Now, he isn't the complete package at all. Aymeric Laporte weren't the complete package when we signed him either, but the good news is, apparently he's available for £40 million, which I'm going to presume that's his release clause. That tends to be how the Spanish transfers work. And so if that's the case, half the price of what Harry Maguire would be, and also means we've not got competition. Espanyol aren't going to say, we've got various clubs interested, so you need to up your bid. No haggling. It's just simply meet the release clause, and you sign the player, much like we did with Rodri just this week as well. So that's what we'll be looking for. But once again, like Elvedi, he isn't a homegrown player, and because of that, not too likely. There is also interest there from Atletico Madrid, and so I personally reckon if that Atletico Madrid step up their interest, they'd probably sign him instead. But if they didn't, and City wanted to work with another player that wasn't kind of the complete package, and a player that would be available for £40 million, Spanish, City do like Spanish players, and players that like playing that passing style of football, then he would suit, and he'd certainly be an option. Hermoso, and also Elvedi are two solid young options for Manchester City to go for, both similar quality to each other, and it'd be interesting to see. But at the moment, City are looking for homegrown players. So we'll move on to the last transfer, and it's probably the most interesting because I've seen some people keen, some people not so keen, and it comes in the form of Leonardo Bonucci of Juventus. And he's like a safe and sensible option for Manchester City, but there is some problems with this transfer. We're not going to talk about the incidents that involved him last season with racism and all that. That's for another video, and whether you regard him as a bad influence on the team, then yeah, I can understand why. But we'll just talk about him because City's name is out there for him. 32-year-old centre-back, Italian, 6'3", great commander, good defender, good in the air, good leader, tough tackling, no-nonsense defender. Problem we've got with him, though, he isn't the right age. 32 years old. I don't see City going for him, if I'm completely honest. He's on a contract until 2023 after re-signing for Juventus from AC Milan just last season. Means that the transfer is going to be expensive. I've heard around £50 million. £50 million for a player that is 32 years old. Now, if we got him for a good price, like a cut price, 10, 15 million, I'd say go for it, 2-3 year deal, see where we go from there. If it doesn't work, just sign another centre-back and sell him. But for £50 million, that's serious investment for a player that hasn't got a long-term future at Manchester City. So to me, it's just a no-go. If we're going to spend £50 million on a 32-year-old, I don't understand why we're not competing with United to try and sign a younger player in Harry Maguire, homegrown, physically tall, good commanding player, good in the air, and sort out our front post, set play defending. We may as well just plumb out the extra money and sign him. I also not mention another player on purpose, Koulibaly. He's even more expensive than Maguire. City are saying no to a homegrown player, which we kind of need, for £85 million. Then we're not going to go and splash out £100 million signing a player that isn't homegrown. It isn't going to happen. That isn't a realistic transfer, and that is why I've not mentioned Koulibaly. But he is an excellent defender, and I would love to have him at Man City, but to me, that just isn't an option. So there's some 5 alternatives. To me, I'd say Nathan Ake is probably the most likely of all them centre-backs if we were to go in for a centre-back. Only way I see us going in for a centre-back is if 2 things happen in the next couple of weeks. Number 1, an injury to one of our more senior defenders. So Fernandinho picks up an injury. If John Stones, Aymeric Laporte or Nicolas Otamendi pick up an injury and they're out for a few weeks into a few months, I can see City then dipping into the market for a centre-back. Or, and we've not got full clarification on this just yet, if Nicolas Otamendi decides he wants to leave, Atletico Madrid are interested in him too, so they are looking for a centre-back, don't forget, then we're going to need a centre-back. We can't be going into the whole Premier League and Champions League and League Cup and FA Cup competing on all four fronts with just, in terms of senior players, 2 centre-backs. We can't be doing that way. We'd have to dip into the market, but it does get rid of a player that isn't homegrown. So we're always waiting there or thereabouts. I have got another video idea if you are interested when there isn't so much transfer news going about, and that is talking about the homegrown players, who's homegrown at Man City, who's not, and why there is a problem there. If you'd like for me to do that in a video, let me know that in the comments below. Also, let me know your thoughts of this video in the comments below. Which player would you like to see out these 5 players at Manchester City, and who would you not like to see us sign? Let me know in the comments below. Is it the baggage that comes with Leonardo Bonucci? If I'm completely honest, I'm not too keen on the baggage that comes with him either. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Press the bell and put your push notifications on. We're aiming for 4,200 subscribers. I'm hoping to hit it by either close of play today or into tomorrow. Sometime then, that'd be nice. So make sure if you're interested and you want to help support me, then do subscribe and press the bell. Put your push notifications on. We're back with daily Manchester City transfer updates as of tomorrow. I'm only not going in today because it's a little bit quiet out there. There isn't too much for me to talk about, but there will be for tomorrow. I can guarantee you that one. Go check out my social media links if you so wish. Pop it up on screen and links in description. Want to go and follow me on there, my Twitter and Instagram, keeping you up to date with all things football and Manchester City, and on my Instagram with JSGC too. Go and check them out and follow me on there if you so wish. And I'll see you all again for the next video. So it's been JSGC, trying something new with these transfer stuff because it's a little bit quiet. I'll be back tomorrow with a daily transfer update. So it's been JSGC. Hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace. Ciao for now.